First, the USDA's Justice for All non-discriminatory statement, which simply states that all persons must be treated equally without regard to their race, color, national origin, sex, religious creed, disability, age, political beliefs, or reprisal or retaliation for prior civil rights activity, and that our institution provides an inclusive space for all. For more information on the And Justice for All statement, please visit the USDA's website.
Hi everyone, I'm Christina. I am a project manager with ISLES. We're a Trenton-based community development nonprofit. And today we're learning all about blueberries. I'd like to thank Rutgers Cooperative Extension of Mercer County, Department of Family and Community Health Sciences, and SNAP-Ed for hosting this video today. So what we're typically doing is every single month we feature a different New Jersey grown fruit or vegetable. And January we have blueberries. And you might be wondering, it's cold outside, nothing's really growing right now. Why is January Blueberry Month? And we wanted to highlight how some of our food that is grown in New Jersey is preserved. And one of the ways we can preserve food is by freezing it. So a lot of our New Jersey blueberries that get produced, they end up being not being sold in stores, but instead frozen and then preserved so that we can still enjoy Jersey fresh blueberries in the month of January. So that's what we're going to be using today. New Jersey we produce about 40 million pounds of blueberries a year. Most of our blueberries are grown in Hamilton area, which is in the southeastern coast of New Jersey, and we are 5th in the nation for blueberry production. So we produce a lot of blueberries. And today we're going to feature a healthy, really simple recipe that has frozen blueberries in it. So I have them here. You can get them at any grocery store. If you want to buy Jersey blueberries, you look for the Jersey Fresh label on the package. Sometimes that can be a little tricky to find, but a lot of stores do carry them. So I have my frozen blueberries, and if you're like me, in the winter time, I'm cold. I don't really want anything cold to eat, so I'm not going to just be snacking on my blueberries. I actually want something warm and comforting, and so hopefully that's what this recipe will be today. We're going to make a compote, kind of more of a jam, or you can call it a sauce, whatever you want to call it. So we'll get started. The first thing I need, of course, are my blueberries. This is about a ½ pound of blueberries. And other things I need are a saucepan. So I'm going to put my blueberries in the saucepan. All right. And then I need a few other ingredients. When I'm cooking, I always want to add something a little bit acidic. This helps balance out the flavors. And so today I'm using a lemon. You might also want to use a lime. If you want this to be a little bit of a sweeter recipe, because both blueberries and lemons are tart, you can also use oranges would be great, or a type of juice would be fine. So before I cut my lemon, I'm actually going to use a little bit of lemon zest. You can use a grater for this. You can actually use something to peel the lemon zest off, whatever you prefer. I'm going to grate it on this small side. I'll try to get it on the video for you. All right. And you can do however much you want. I would say like a ½ teaspoon might be good. You know, if you want it really tart, add more. If you don't really want it tart, add less. That's up to you. So this isn't even ½ teaspoon. I'm just going to add a little bit. All right, so we have our lemon zest. That's going to go in our saucepan. It's going to be stuck to my fingers. Also make sure that your hands are clean whenever you're cooking. Of course, you don't want to see that boring part of my video, so of course I washed my hands before we got started. I'm going to cut my lemon in half. I'm going to juice it. Probably only need about a ½ of a lemon for this recipe. Let's see how much we get. Sometimes lemons have more juice in it. Some lemons have more juice than others, so we'll see what happens. All right, here we go. That's plenty. That's about, like 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. So that's going to go in here. And then the last thing you need, because this is a little bit of a tart recipe, is something to sweeten it. So I don't want to add too much sugar. We are probably consuming more sugar than we need in our diets, but I'm going to add a little bit of sugar to this recipe. Kind of the rule of thumb is per pound of blueberries, I would add about a tablespoon of sugar. You can use coconut sugar, you can use agave, maple syrup, honey, whatever you have to sweeten it. Just don't go overboard. You do want to keep this on the healthier side. So I'm just adding 1 spoonful of sugar. That should be enough. All right, so those are the main ingredients for your compote. And then I want to add some more flavor to mine because this gets a little bit boring to me. And this is where you get to be really creative. So think about what types of flavors you like, what things you would want to add, what kind of things that you think would taste really good, and you can experiment. If you're new to cooking, it might take a few tries. You want to experiment a little bit. You might make something, might not taste that great. That's okay. That's part of the fun. That's how you learn how to do this. That's definitely how I learned how to do it. So in mine, I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon. I'm just going to add a sprinkle. I'm going to add a little nutmeg. Less nutmeg than cinnamon. I'm going to add just a splash of vanilla extract. Probably like 1/4 of a teaspoon. And then I'm going to add a little bit of ginger. I peeled a piece of this ginger. I'm going to grate it again on the small side of my grater. And you can add any flavors that you want. Other things that might be good in this are cardamom would be delicious. You can go for a more savory flavor, so maybe rosemary or basil is excellent with blueberries. So don't be afraid to experiment and see what you really like. All right, so now I'm gonna put this on medium heat. And I'm going to stir everything up. And this needs to cook for about 5 minutes. If I want it to be thicker, if I want like a really thick jam, what I would do after the 5-minute mark is remove the blueberries and then let this boil and reduce it. And that's going to make it really thick. If I want it to be thinner at the 5-minute mark, I can remove it. And if it's too thick for me, I can add a little bit of water or more juice. Here, I'm going to add a little bit more ginger. Okay, so this is cooking down, and I wanted to show you how you might want to freeze your own blueberries. So, let's say it's summer. Blueberries are typically grown in August. They like really hot, really humid climates. So all along the East Coast, we actually have blueberries growing from Maine to Florida, because those are the places where it gets really hot and humid. And they grow in New Jersey along the eastern coast near the shore, and there's a few reasons for that. In that area, there's sandy soil, and sandy soil doesn't hold on to water, so it drains really well, and the blueberries like that kind of soil. And they also like soil that's really acidic. So you may have heard of the pine barrens. The pine needles drop, they add a lot of acid to the soil, and blueberries love that soil. And this is kind of a unique adaptation of blueberries, because blueberries, not many plants really like that kind of soil, so they end up, not many plants can grow there, but blueberries love this, so we are lucky for that. And blueberries are actually really hard to harvest, because when you need to harvest them, it's usually July and August. This is the hottest month of our year. Usually temperatures are in the 90s, and the folks that are outside picking our blueberries, they are outside in extreme heat. Blueberries are pretty small and pretty delicate, so you need a delicate touch to be able to get them off the plant. So a huge amount of respect to anyone that is out there harvesting our blueberries. This is an extremely hard job, and they definitely need to be celebrated. All right, so let's say you bought blueberries in August. You want to preserve them so that you can have them in January. What you would do is you would get your blueberries. You would, of course, wash them really well, and then you would lay them out in a flat layer on a baking sheet like this and put them in the freezer. And the reason you're doing that is because if you just put them in a container and froze them, especially after washing them, you're just going to get a big cube of blueberries that aren't able to break up very easily. So we want to avoid that from happening. So it's really simple, and that's a way that you can get blueberries in the winter time and enjoy them all year long. And this, of course, is a technique, you know, it's a way to make blueberries more affordable. Of course, when they're in season, they are much more affordable to buy than when they aren't. So this is a great way to be able to enjoy them. And of course, you can use blueberries in all different ways. So I always have frozen blueberries in my freezer. I will add them to smoothies. I like to just snack on them as they are. I will put them in things like blueberry muffins, pancakes. You know, the possibilities are really endless, so you can just keep adding them. And they're so good for you. Blueberries are loaded with vitamins. They have a lot of antioxidants in them. That's going to prevent things like diseases, certain types of cancer. They have vitamin C, which is important for your immune system. They have vitamins and minerals that are important for muscle and bone growth. So iron, for instance. And I just want to remind you all that eating a variety of fruits and vegetables is really important for a healthy diet, and blueberries are definitely part of that. So we're going to keep stirring, and we're seeing some steam now, so everything's getting nice and hot. All right, and we're keeping it on medium heat because if it was on high heat, what would happen is the blueberries on the bottom would cook really quickly. It would get stuck to the pan, and then the blueberries on top wouldn't cook at all. So we're trying to get some even heat here. And so once I make this compote, what I'm going to do is I will put it in a jar. Mason jar is great. It'll last about a week in your fridge, and you can start using it as a condiment. So what I like to do is I'll add it to oatmeal. I might put it in yogurt. Sometimes spreading like ricotta or cottage cheese over bread, using it as a topping for that, and even as a topping with meat. So think of it like how you would use cranberry sauce during a Thanksgiving dinner. You know, it goes really well with poultry. You can put it on a sandwich. So you can get really creative with this and do all sorts of different things. All right, so it's almost done. I don't want to be on this video for too long because I'm sure you all have a lot of other things to do, but this is what it starts to look like. It's a little watery right now, so I'd probably let it boil a little bit and reduce. But if you like it like this with these whole blueberries in it, it's great. Blueberries have naturally a lot of pectin, so they'll get kind of gelatinous and make it'll be more gel-like. But once this is done, I'll add it to my jar, and then I'll get to enjoy it, and it'll be absolutely delicious. So I'd love to hear from all of you in the comments about how you might use frozen blueberries in your recipes, or what are your favorite things to eat with blueberries, or what other flavors might you add to this compote. And I hope you try this recipe at home and you really enjoy it. And then I'll see you all next month for our next featured vegetable. Have a good day.